In the boundless expanse of our solar system, amidst the swirling planets and drifting comets, one world stands as a beacon of mystery. A world that has, for millennia, captured the imagination of everyone who has turned their gaze toward the night sky. Saturn, the sixth planet from the Sun, is not merely another celestial body in the planetary parade. It is the crowned jewel, encircled by a halo so grand and otherworldly that it defies easy explanation. From ancient astronomers to modern scientists, Saturn's rings have conjured awe, reverence, and inevitably, questions. What are these luminous bands made of? How did they form? And most tantalizing of all, could they be something far more extraordinary than mere cosmic debris? Could we, in fact, be witnessing a colossal artifact, an alien superstructure of unimaginable scale and purpose? To contemplate such possibilities, we must first peel back the layers of what we know. The story of Saturn's rings as understood by science, and the enigma that persists at its very heart. Saturn's rings, at first glance, seem to be a simple phenomenon. They are composed mainly of countless particles of ice and rock, ranging in size from microscopic dust grains to boulders the size of houses. These particles orbit Saturn in a vast flat disk, stretching more than 175,000 miles from the planet's surface, yet, in many places, barely 100 feet thick. Thinner, indeed, than the width of a city block. When sunlight strikes them, they shimmer with an ethereal beauty, giving Saturn its iconic, almost supernatural appearance. Yet behind this beauty lies a puzzle. For centuries, astronomers tried to make sense of these rings. Early telescopes revealed tantalizing clues, but little clarity. Galileo, the first to observe Saturn through a telescope in 1610, described what he saw as a planet with ears, a triple-bodied apparition that confounded his understanding. It would take decades and the keen eyes of Christian Huygens to recognize these ears as rings encircling the planet. As telescopes grew more powerful, so did our understanding. We learned that the rings were not solid, but made up of countless individual particles, each following its own orbit. The prevailing theory became that the rings were remnants, either the shattered remains of a moon torn apart by Saturn's gravity, or primordial debris left over from the planet's formation. These ideas, while plausible, never quite fit all the observations. The modern era of space exploration brought new insights and new mysteries. The Pioneer and Voyager missions of the late 20th century revealed the rings in unprecedented detail. They discovered that the rings were far more complex than anyone had imagined, divided into thousands of thin, sharply defined bands, with gaps, waves, and mysterious spokes that appeared and vanished unpredictably. But it was the Cassini spacecraft, launched in 1997 and orbiting Saturn for over a decade, that transformed our understanding and deepened the enigma. Cassini's instruments recorded the rings in exquisite detail. They found that the rings were dynamic, ever-changing. Strange radial spokes flickered in and out of existence, defying explanation. The edges of some rings were razor-sharp, as if sculpted by an unseen hand. The rings themselves vibrated, with oscillations rippling through them like the strings of a vast cosmic harp. Perhaps most startling of all, Cassini's data suggested that the rings were surprisingly young, perhaps only 100 million years old. In a solar system more than 4.5 billion years old, this is shockingly recent. If the rings did not form at the dawn of Saturn's existence, what event created them so late in cosmic history? And more provocatively, could they have been created intentionally? It is here that speculation veers into the extraordinary. One figure who embraced this line of inquiry was Dr. Norman Berggren, a respected engineer who once worked with NASA and Lockheed. In his controversial book, The Ringmakers of Saturn, Berggren proposed that the rings were not merely natural debris, but the product of vast intelligent machines, enormous electromagnetic vehicles, or EMVs, which he claimed could be seen in spacecraft images, manipulating and maintaining the rings. Berggren's ideas were met with skepticism, even derision, by the scientific mainstream. After all, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, yet his theory struck a chord with those who believe that the universe may harbour civilizations far older and more advanced than our own. If such civilizations exist, would it not be within their power to reshape planets, to construct rings as titanic machines or as messages for those who would come after? The concept is not as far-fetched as it may seem. Physicists have long speculated about so-called megastructures, vast constructions built by advanced beings to harness stellar energy or serve unknown purposes. The Dyson sphere, a hypothetical shell encasing a star to capture its power, is an idea taken seriously by many in the scientific community. Why then should we dismiss the possibility that Saturn's rings are themselves the handiwork of intelligence on a planetary, even planetary system scale? What would be the purpose of such a structure? Some have speculated that the rings could serve as colossal communication arrays, broadcasting signals across the galaxy. Others suggest they might be defensive barriers, or even devices to regulate the planet's environment or cloak its true nature. The rings' complex geometry, their precise divisions and resonances, might be the signatures of advanced engineering, codes or patterns meant to be deciphered by those with the knowledge to see. Adding to the intrigue are the many anomalies associated with Saturn and its rings. Cassini observed a persistent hexagonal storm at Saturn's north pole, a six-sided jet stream of perfect symmetry, unlike any phenomenon seen elsewhere in the solar system. This geometric precision has fascinated scientists and fueled speculation among those who see in it the hand of design. There are the strange radio emissions too, pulses emanating from Saturn's poles, detected by Cassini and earlier by Voyager. These signals are rhythmic, shifting in timing, and unlike any known natural radio phenomena. Some researchers liken them to radar pings or encoded messages. Their true nature remains a mystery. Observers have also noted peculiar objects within the rings, solid, symmetrical forms that seem to cast shadows, move in formation, and sometimes vanish as suddenly as they appear. Are these moonlets, as mainstream science believes, or something more artificial, probes, machines, or remnants of ancient construction? Arthur C. Clarke once wrote, "Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. If an alien civilization had the ability to reshape planets, would not their works appear to us as miracles, wonders that blend seamlessly into the fabric of the cosmos?" And yet, Saturn's mystery is not merely scientific. It is cultural, mythological, even spiritual. For ancient peoples, Saturn was more than a planet. To the Romans, he was Saturnus, god of time and dissolution. To the Greeks, Kronos, the devourer of his own children. In the mythologies of Mesopotamia, Egypt, and India, Saturn was a figure of awe and dread, a symbol of boundaries, hidden knowledge, and the cycles of destruction and renewal. In astrology, Saturn is the bringer of limitation and discipline, the planet of mastery and initiation. In occult traditions, he is the gatekeeper, the lord of the threshold between worlds. The hexagram, a shape echoed in Saturn's polar storm, is a symbol of sacred geometry, appearing in religions and esoteric systems from Judaism to Hinduism to Islam. Some fringe theorists have suggested that ancient civilizations once worshipped Saturn during an epoch when its rings were more visible from Earth, that the planet played a central role in the mythic sky, shaping humanity's earliest understanding of the cosmos. They point to recurring symbols, circles, crowns, stars of 6 or 8 points, found in ancient art and architecture, as evidence of a forgotten Saturnian age. Are these merely coincidences, or the vestiges of a lost cosmic memory? A time when Saturn's rings blazed brighter in our sky, and their true nature was known, if only dimly, to our ancestors. As we ponder these mysteries, we must acknowledge that the mainstream scientific explanation remains compelling. Saturn's rings, most likely, are the remnants of a moon torn apart by tidal forces, or the leftover debris from the planet's formation. Their youthful age may be the result of ongoing processes, collisions, accretion, and the relentless sculpting hand of gravity. But the anomalies persist. The sharp edges, the resonant frequencies, the unexplained radio signals, the geometry, the mythology, the sense of something more at work than blind chance. In a universe billions of years old, where stars are born and die in the blink of an eye, the possibility that we are looking at not just a natural wonder, but a work of artifice, cannot be dismissed out of hand. Perhaps, as with so many mysteries, the truth lies somewhere in between. Natural processes shaped and guided by forces we do not yet understand. Perhaps even the legacy of intelligences that came before us. For now, Saturn keeps its secrets. The Cassini mission ended in 2017, its final act a fiery plunge into the planet's atmosphere, a deliberate destruction to avoid contaminating the moons that may harbour life. Since then, our eyes have grown dimmer. We no longer have a sentinel orbiting Saturn, sending back daily revelations. But Saturn remains, silent and majestic, its rings gleaming in the darkness, a question carved into the heavens. Are they the remnants of destruction, or the evidence of design? Are they a message, a monument, a boundary, a warning? Perhaps, as humanity continues its journey into the cosmos, we will one day uncover the answers. Perhaps we will learn to read the patterns in the rings, to decipher the signals in the static, to recognize the handiwork of minds far greater and older than our own. Or perhaps, like Galileo, we are still peering through cloudy glass, mistaking wonders for oddities, magic for mere mechanics, miracles for the mundane. Yet every night, as we look up and see that golden orb with its perfect shimmering crown, we are reminded of the power of the unknown, the invitation, the challenge, the promise that the universe still holds secrets beyond our imagining. For in the end, the greatest force in the cosmos may not be gravity, or energy, or time itself. It may be the simple, irresistible pull of a question, one that refuses to be answered, one that draws us ever onward, out into the darkness, in search of understanding. And so, Saturn's rings remain, a mystery, a marvel, a monument to the unknown. Whether crafted by nature or intelligence, they remind us that the universe is vaster, stranger, and more wondrous than we can yet comprehend. And perhaps in their silent beauty, they are not just a question, but an invitation, beckoning us to look deeper, to ask bolder, to dream greater. Saturn waits. Its rings shimmer with secrets. And somewhere circling in the cosmic night, the answer awaits discovery.